When Kathleen talked about messaging, what kind of messaging are you hoping to hear from the ECB and also the Fed that would play out in Asia?
Well, I think they'll try to convey some kind of hawkishness, but there's a limitation to how credible that hawkishness is. So beyond reasonable doubt, I think there'll still be an element of doubt in the market, given there's a whole wide disparity of inflation. We still have a negative output gap, and we have debt issues in the periphery as well. So they'll try to lean hawkish, but I think there's still going to be that doubt in the market in their ability to deliver on hawkish.
When you take a look at asset movements right now, there seems to be a perception that perhaps we're possibly looking at a Fed pivot, especially on the back of what we saw from the Bank of Canada. I mean, raising rates smaller than expected. It's still too early, isn't it?
I think the word would be a treacherous pivot, not just a pivot, but a treacherous pivot. I mean, we've seen that as well, the RBA trying to shift down a gear from 50 to 25 basis points. But it is treacherous because, as we've seen, the bottom line has been inflation has continued to surprise to the upside, and so I think they'll struggle with that. So I think, yes, it's premature to look for that pivot, and I think this pullback in the dollar is just a temporary reprieve.
Well, tell us a little bit, I mean, Claudia, with what we're seeing from the Fed and the verbiage, how it's changing in some regards, the market seems to have really gotten onto that. So, you know, the question I've been asking all morning, have we seen the back of peak hawkishness?
I still think it's quite hard. I mean, we still look at the terminal rate at being 4 3/4 to 5% with some potential upside risk. Clearly, there's some signs. People are in hope that, you know, from some of the alternative data on rentals in the United States, that could mean that owner equivalent rentals could fade into next year. But again, I think there's still quite some time between now and then. And to a certain degree, the demand that we're seeing, particularly from the labor market, I think that's where we'll really have to be convinced. And I think that's what the Fed is waiting for, is the weakness in the labor market in particular. And we only see that really happening in the first quarter. So I would say the jury is still very much out for the remainder of this year.
The dollar then, how high will it go?
Well, I think it's continuing to go high. For instance, we've just extended our forecast for dollar Asia, so we're looking at dollar renminbi heading to 7.6 by the end of this year. We're looking for dollar Korea to go to 1,500. So I think within the Asia realm, we still have more strength to the upside. On euro dollar, let's see, we're touching that 100-day moving average around the 101 levels. Whether it can sustain above there, but I think more likely than not, we'll move back below parity by the end of the year.